I just ask that the back hallway be clear so that the color guard can have a clear path to the stage, please? Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the presentation of our nation's flag by the Frank W. Ochterman, Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3236. Remain standing for the invocation and the singing of our national anthem by the Ludlow High School Chorus under the direction of Mr. Dan Henry. Color guard, advance the colors.
Detail, attention, forward, march. Mark time, march. Detail, halt. Left, base.
Father Robert Miskell from Christ the King Parish in Ludlow will now offer the invocation.
Almighty and everlasting God, we give you thanks for the gift of this day and for the gift of your warriors, our veterans, whom we honor this day. Keep them always in thy love, guiding them in virtue and protecting them from vice and evil. Protect all those charged with our defense, and give them leaders filled likewise with virtue and wisdom. Send among us, Lord, noble statesmen, rather than demagogues and opportunists. Enlighten those who govern us, and may they always submit themselves as humble servants of you, our eternal King. Amen.
Detail, present, arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early lights what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arms.
Color guard, post the colors.
Detail, right, face. Post the colors.
Please join me in a round of applause to the Ludlow High School Chorus and Mr. Henry for an outstanding job. Good morning, and welcome to the 2014 Ludlow Veterans Day Ceremony. My name is Technical Sergeant James Jice of the 104th Fighter Wing and Post Adjutant of the Ludlow VFW. Together with Eric Secundo, the Director of Veteran Services, we are honored to be your Masters of Ceremonies for today's event. I would like to introduce our distinguished guests here with us today. 7th Hampden District State Representative Thomas Petrolato. Representing Senator Elizabeth Warren's office, Everett Hanford. Selectman William Rooney. Selectman Aaron Saunders. And Selectman Carmina Fernandez. Our guest speaker, Commander of the 104th Fighter Wing, Barnes Air National Guard Base, Colonel James J. Keefe. Ludlow High School Senior Class President Chelsea Lindblad. Other guests in attendance with us today, Veteran of the Year, Sergeant Paul Charzan. Christine Bassett, Post Commander, VFW Post 3236. Lou Casagran, Commander, American Legion Post 52 in Ludlow. Mary Evangelista, President of the VFW Ladies Auxiliary. World War II veteran, Lloyd Askew. Bernie McCluskey, Director of Vietnam Veterans Mass Incorporated. And the Ludlow Police Department. I would like to welcome Eric Secundo, Director of Veteran Services for the Town of Ludlow, for his opening remarks.
I want to welcome the Ludlow Fire Department as well. Thank you for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, America makes a lot of things, but the strongest, most resilient, honorable, dedicated, committed, and true American product that has had a significant effect on each and every one of our lives exists to protect you, me, and the American way of life. It is the American veteran. And today, it is their day. I'd like to take a moment and pause for a moment of silence to honor all those who made the ultimate sacrifice, defending our great nation. And while we reflect upon their lives, let us also pause to remember their families, those that will forever carry the burden of the true cross of freedom. Today we honor every man and woman who has proudly worn the uniform of our armed forces and bravely defended America from the many evils of the world. Whether serving here at home or abroad, this elite group of individuals has ensured that you and I are able to live our daily lives free of tyranny and fear. This group of individuals does not ask for anything from us in return, and that's a good thing, because the fact is we can never repay them for what all they have done for us. But ladies and gentlemen, today is a start. By you being here, it shows you acknowledge and appreciate the great sacrifices our military and men and women have made from generations to ensure freedom endures. You have taken the time out of your busy lives to join hundreds of thousands of patriotic Americans across the nation in paying tribute to America's most selfless citizens, those dedicated to something bigger than themselves. Our veterans cherish the values of which our nation was founded. They bravely answered the call to preserve and defend. They should make every American feel a deep sense of pride. And more are answering the call as we meet here today. As I stand before you, thousands of our best and brightest are currently deployed all over the world defending our freedom. We pray for their safe return, and we stand ready to support their families while they are away. Our veterans deserve our lasting gratitude and respect. Each and every American veteran has had a significant role in shaping America's past, our present, and undoubtedly our future. And again, though we cannot repay them for their many sacrifices, we must show our appreciation through whatever means possible. Ladies and gentlemen, on this Veterans Day, I ask that you give back in any way you can. I invite you to get involved. Help us give back to those who have given so much to us. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Eric. It is now my pleasure to introduce Selectman Saunders of the Ludlow Board of Selectmen for his opening remarks. Selectman.
Good morning. On behalf of our chairman, Manny Silva, who couldn't be here today, Brian Mannix, and certainly Selectman Bill Rooney and Carmina Fernandez, thank you for being here today. Events like this, and we've said it before, and it bears saying again, really define our town of Ludlow. And it makes me, as one person, very proud to represent a town who has such dedication to the men and women who have served our country. I want to thank Eric Segundo because this does not happen on its own. It's a tremendous amount of work in addition to the services that Eric provides to our veterans day in and day out. Eric, thank you for putting together an excellent ceremony. I'd also like to thank Colonel Keefe for coming to Ludlow to share his thoughts and remarks. And the Barnes family continues to be in the thoughts and prayers of those of us in Ludlow. Veterans Day, and I'm not going to try to put it better than Eric did because I think it's very difficult to. But what strikes me about so many of our veterans in Ludlow is after they have given so much to us, our country, they come home and they continue to give. You'd be hard-pressed to find any volunteer board, activity, community group that isn't actively supported by our veterans. And I say this to call out special attention to our Veteran of the Year today, Paul Sharzan, who has taken that sense of service, and again, as Eric said, without asking for anything in return, to constantly give back to the town of Ludlow, to give back to the veterans community. He serves as a symbol of what we should all strive to be in public service. And I can't think of anyone more deserving of the honor that he's receiving today. And finally, because I was told to keep this brief, which isn't very easy for me, it's hard to put into words when you see the sacrifice that so many have made, and paying special attention to those who have brought the wounds of the battles they fought back home. And I would just ask that while we recognize each and every veteran today, we take special care to remember those who still bear the scars, seen and unseen, of fighting for our freedom. Thank you, and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you, Selectman Saunders. It is now my great pleasure to introduce a longtime supporter of our veterans and their families, Representative Thomas Petrolotti.
Thank you, Jimmy. The Reverend Clergy, Colonel Keefe, to the veterans, to my good friends and colleagues from the Board of Selectmen, and you ladies and gentlemen. Let me start off by welcoming you today to the ceremony and taking a special moment to thank you. I'm honored to be speaking with you today on such an important occasion because we're here today to honor our service members and to remember their sacrifices that they made and the courage it takes to defend honor, duty, and courage. The writer Michael de Montigny once said, "Valor is not stability, not the legs of arms, but the courage of the soul." We're here today to honor our heroes, to remember their achievements, their courage, and their dedication, and to say thank you for your sacrifices. Thinking of heroes who join us in this group today, and those who are only here in spirit, a person can't help but feel awed by the enormity of what we've encountered. We stand in the midst of patriots and the families and friends of those who have nobly served. I'd like to take a moment, if I could, to recognize the service members and veterans who are here today and say thank you for answering the call of duty. You made our armed forces the most respected in the world. And I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to also recognize and thank the family members of our veterans. We know they have lived through difficult times and often taking a heavy load to keep the home fires burning. Thank you for what you've done. We also recognize that the fact that service members we honor today came from all walks of life, but they shared several fundamental qualities. They possessed courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty and to integrity. All the qualities to serve a cause much larger than oneself. Many of them didn't ask to leave their homes and fight in different distant battlefields. Many didn't even volunteer. They didn't go to war because they loved fighting. They were called to be part of something bigger than themselves. They were ordinary people from all walks of life who responded in extraordinary ways in extreme times. They rose to the nation's call because they wanted to protect a nation which has given them and us so much. You know, since the first shots in Lexington and Concord were fired in our Revolutionary War, American men and women have always answered the nation's call to duty. Millions of Americans have fought and died in battlefields here and abroad to defend the freedoms of our life. Today, troops continue to make the ultimate sacrifice. And even as we lose troops, more Americans step forward to say, "I am ready to serve." They follow in the footsteps of generations of fine and great Americans. We all know that Veterans Day originally was called Armistice Day, and it was designated to celebrate the end of World War I. The First World War ended November 11, 1918, and the legislation that was created for Veterans Day, and I quote, was dedicated to the cause of world peace, to be hereafter celebrated and known as Armistice Day. As time went on and we engaged in further conflicts during World War II and the Korean War, veterans groups lobbied for a change. Rather than just honoring the armistice and only those who served in World War II, the holiday was expanded to now honor all veterans from every war, every conflict the United States had encountered. We've honored our troops and services and their sacrifices ever since that legislation was passed. And though we've awarded medals to many soldiers, added their names to monuments, and named buildings for them, to honor them for their bravery, nothing can ever replace the hole left behind by the fallen service members. And no number of medals and ribbons can comfort the ones who are left behind. But today, collectively, people throughout this country, this Commonwealth, and this community will gather today to remember, to honor, to pay gratitude to those who have served our country. Our gathering is just one small spark in a flame of pride that burns across this nation today and every day. It is not a lot, but it's one small way we can honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice so we can live in freedom and democracy. Let me suggest this to you if I could. Your presence here today, that of all the people gathering across the Commonwealth and the country, is a tribute to those lost troops and to their families. And as Eric has suggested, it is a way to say we remember. From the soldiers who shivered and starved through the winter of Valley Forge, to the doughboys who crouched in the muddy trenches of France, to the platoons who have patrolled the hazy jungles of Vietnam, and today's young men and women patrolling the mountains of Afghanistan, we remember and we honor them all for their sacrifice. For in essence, honoring the sacrifices made for our country in the name of freedom and democracy is the very foundation that Veterans Day was built on. Our veterans have taught us a very poignant lesson. They have taught us that no matter what our positions may be on the policy, as Americans and as patriots, we must support all of our soldiers with our thoughts and, just as importantly, our prayers. Let me conclude by quoting an author, a writer, and a newspaper reporter who back in the 1940s came out with a quote that I think is just as profound today as it was back then. His name is Elmer Davis, and he said, "This nation will remain the land of the free only as long as it is the home of the brave." Thank you for your attendance here today. May God bless you, your families, may God bless our troops, and may God bless America.
Thank you, Representative Petrolato. It is now my distinct honor today to welcome our guest speaker, Colonel James J. Keefe. Colonel James J. Keefe is the commander, 104th Fighter Wing, Barnes International Guard Base, Westfield, Mass. He is in charge of directing the operations of more than 1,000 military and civilian personnel in support of the unit's Federal Air Superiority F-15C mission, as well as the Massachusetts National Guard's domestic support mission. Colonel Keefe entered the Air Force in 1987 upon graduation from the U.S. Air Force ROTC program at Norwich University, Northfield, Vermont. He has served in a variety of flying positions during assignments on both active duty and the Air National Guard, including instructor pilot, flight commander, flying safety officer, and squadron commander. Colonel Keefe joined the Massachusetts Air National Guard in May 1999 as a traditional drill status guardsman. He is a command pilot with over 3,300 flying hours in various planes to include the F-16 and A-10 and F-15. He has flown 330 hours of combat support time in deployments supporting Operations Southern Watch, Northern Watch, Iraqi Freedom, and Noble Eagle. Colonel Keefe is a native of Northampton, Massachusetts, and currently resides in Florence, Mass. Colonel Keefe's numerous awards include Meritorious Service Medal, Air Medal, Aerial Achievement Medal, Southwest Asia Service Medal, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, and Global War on Terrorism Service Medal. Ladies and gentlemen, Colonel James Keefe.
Thank you. You guys don't have to stand for me, really. Before I start, where's my Marines in the audience today? How many Marines we got out here? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to the Marines. Let's have a round of applause for our Marines. I have a good friend of mine who I fly F-15s with and I flew A-10s with. He's a Marine, and Chrissy knows him. His name's Bola Blake, and he makes sure that I always know when the Marine Corps birthday is, because he always tells me that God created the Marines first, and then the United States of America, because he really wanted someone to defend his country. So I hear from him all the time. Veterans Day. First of all, I want to thank Chrissy Bassett, who I've known many years, for inviting me here to speak today. Veterans Day, it's a great day for veterans. Sometimes we think we may take it too solemnly because it is a celebration today. We want to thank the veterans for what they've done. We have Memorial Day to remember those who've given their lives in support of this country and defense of this country. We also remember them on Veterans Day. So I always ask people, hey, don't feel so solemn today. It is a celebration. So please feel free to go and thank a veteran today. You young people in the crowd, you've got some great people up here. If you want to learn a little bit about the history of the United States and the history of the U.S. military, please stop by and ask them some questions. Some great individuals here. I had the distinct joy of speaking last year in my hometown of Northampton, Massachusetts. But I will say it's much safer here. Actually, we have a parade. If many of you have been to the Northampton Main Street Veterans Day Parade, they actually have traffic running the other direction as you're marching. And I'm always afraid we're going to lose like a little brownie or a Boy Scout or something, getting crushed by a fire truck or something. But I like it here. It's much better. So I may come back here next year if Chrissy wants me. So first of all, I want to thank our distinguished guests over here for joining us today. They are our political arm, and we don't do anything in the military without the help of our politicians. So I want to give you guys a round of applause and thank you for all your support for the U.S. military. I also want to say before I read my brief words, we've had a couple of tragedies at the 104th Fighter Wing recently. We lost one of our pilots. You've probably seen it on the paper, Lieutenant Colonel Morris Moose Fontenot, in a training accident, and we lost another one of our airmen, Sergeant Tom Rudd, to a motorcycle accident. But I just want to say thank you from all the men and women of the 104th Fighter Wing for all the support that everyone's given us. And the cards, the letters have been amazing, and they really do help out. So I want to thank you from my heart for that. And lastly, I just want to thank everybody for coming out today. You could sit at home, you could watch TV in your pajamas today, and you would have been fine doing that, but I really appreciate, as a veteran, you coming out and being here today and recognizing the veterans who have done so much for this country, because they're a great bunch of individuals. So today, we remember the brave men and women of our armed forces, past and present, who have defended America. For over 239 years, the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces have answered the nation's call, beginning in the spring of 1775 on the Lexington Green. On that day, Captain Jonas Parker and 75 Massachusetts militiamen stood in the face of over 600 hardened British regulars. Since then, generations have worn the uniform, earning our freedom, abolishing slavery, and defending the free countries of the world from dominating powers such as Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Our veterans stopped the expansion of communism during the Cold War and fought opposition and oppression in Korea and Vietnam. It was our veterans who fought for these things. They paid the price, and we enjoy the benefits every day. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the right to due process, freedom from denial of these rights because of race, sex, or creed. We owe them all that we have become. Today, our service members continue the fight in the ongoing global war on terrorism. Today, we fight to overcome an enemy that isn't a single nation, but a fanatical ideology that seeks to end our way of life, an enemy that places little value on life itself. For the past 23 plus years, our military has been fighting this war in places like Kuwait, Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. This struggle has become the longest continuous conflict in our nation's history. To the veterans from other wars who are here with us today, and we have many, the veterans of the War on Terror have learned the lessons you have taught them well, and they are worthy of your legacy. It is important to note that the services rendered by the men and women of our armed forces go beyond fighting our nation's wars. The total force, consisting of active, reserve, National Guard forces, protects our citizens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, against man-made and natural disasters. On 9/11, 10,000 National Guardsmen were deployed to New York City and the Pentagon. After Hurricanes Katrina and Rita, 75,000 National Guardsmen, reservists, and active duty personnel were mobilized from across this country, providing relief in the Gulf Coast region. Today, our active duty reserve and National Guard forces are aiding our fellow citizens after natural disasters, providing security, food, transportation, housing, and comfort in the wake of tornadoes, floods, and wildfires. Today, as in the past, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen are building roads, bridges, schools, hospitals, electrical production, while also providing security in places like Iraq, Afghanistan, and Africa. The men and women of our armed forces are not only warriors, but they are ambassadors, providing essential services during stability operations. Today's U.S. military personnel are deployed to over 150 countries around the globe. Our veterans of World War II provided similar services in the end of hostilities, ensuring the newly freed nations of Europe and the Pacific could rebuild peacefully and become productive again. Their citizens enjoying newly found freedoms provided by our American veterans. Our veterans come from all walks of life, white collar, blue collar, towns, cities, farms, and factories, from the north, south, east, and west. They are American, native, and immigrants. They are from all races and creeds, from all ethnic and religious groups. They all share a common bond, an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States. They did not swear to defend a king, queen, or political party, which is often the case in foreign militaries, but to the principles of freedom developed by our forefathers. They are Americans. They are our neighbors, our friends, and our relatives. They are the men and women you see every day, common people who have done very uncommon things for us, bound together by the same principles that started this country some 239 years ago. Today is our chance to thank those who selflessly answered the call to duty and to remember what they have earned for us. Remember our fallen heroes as well. They are the veterans who made the ultimate sacrifice and were able to return home to their loved ones. For war is a terrible thing. It forever changes the people who fight it. Our veterans overcame tremendous obstacles, losing many friends who served beside them along the way. They often left home as boys and girls, returning as men and women, older than their years, tested by conflict, and changed by war. It is our duty as Americans to take care of these veterans, our wounded warriors who have sustained injuries, both physical and emotional. Rather than return with bitterness or despair, however, our veterans raised families, pursued professions, and built and continue to build America into the greatest nation that it is today. And make no mistake that the United States is still the greatest nation in the world, thanks in large part to those veterans who have defended her. Today, I must say I'm very proud to serve with the young men and women of the Massachusetts National Guard. I have watched nearly 6,000 of our fellow National Guard soldiers and airmen deploy overseas and return as veterans. They are the finest people to be found anywhere. And when I speak of our young men and women in uniform, I marvel at their motivation, their enthusiasm, and their courage. Their spirit comes from the ideals and values in which they were raised by parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, and sisters. Perhaps the greatest legacy of our veterans are the values and ideals that were taught to their children and are carried on today. I also marvel at and deeply respect the service members' families and their unwavering support of those serving our military. Families make sacrifices right alongside of their warriors in the military. Families may not carry a rifle, but they carry a heavy burden. They endure financial hardships. They endure separation. And when their loved ones return home, they endure a transition as a service member and family strive to grow together again. Tragically, some loved ones never come home. When a service member falls, it is the family who suffers the most. As we honor veterans, therefore, it is only right that we thank the families and honor them as well. They need our support. If you thank a veteran for his or her service today, I ask that you also thank their family for their sacrifices as well. There's a poem that is often read at Veterans Day, said to be written by the late Sergeant Dennis Edward O'Brien, United States Marine Corps. And actually it is on the back of your pamphlets today. And I'd like to read a small portion of that to kind of encapsulate what our veterans have done for the United States. And it goes something like this. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who has given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It's the soldier who salutes the flag, serves under the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who gives the protester the right to burn the flag. Thank you all for joining me here today to honor our veterans, our men and women in uniform, and their families. And I would like to close by recognizing the veterans here with us today. If you are a veteran, I ask that you please raise your hand, even those on on the stage here. And let's all give them a round of applause. To veterans here with us today and to those who could not be with us because they never came home, I can only say thank you. You gave your blood, sweat, and your very souls so we can enjoy the fruits of freedom. We can never repay you for all you have earned for us. Today, Veterans Day, we gather to honor you, but it is truly you who honor us. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Keefe, for your service and your commitment to the Commonwealth and our country. At this time, I ask Representative Petrolotti to come forward for a presentation.
Colonel, please come forward. This past Tuesday, I had the distinct pleasure of introducing into the Massachusetts House citation on your behalf, and if I could just read some of the particulars. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Colonel James J. Keefe, Commander of 104th Fighter Wing Barnes Air National Guard in Westfield, in recognition of being named the 2014 Ludlow Honorary Guest Speaker and your outstanding dedication and service to the military. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all your endeavors, given this, the 11th day in the year of our Lord, 2014, at the State House by Robert A. DeLeo and offered by Thomas M. Petrolotti, State Representative. Congratulations.
I just want to say they never gave me anything in Northampton, so this is awesome.
At this time, I would like to call upon Ludlow High School Senior Class President Chelsea Lindblad. Is she in the audience? If she would come up here for her remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a little shorter than them, so I'll be up on my tiptoes. Welcome to today's ceremony. I never really realized how much I appreciated and needed to thank my veterans until I was asked to speak today. Everything that I have been taught in my social studies classes and my history classes were able to happen and to be taught in a public education system because of our veterans. And that's amazing, in my opinion. We are here today to thank our veterans and those who have served in the name of our country with great honor and great valor. Sometimes we don't realize how important a group of people are, and today we realize just how important our veterans are. What they do for our country is not only difficult, but it also takes tremendous pride and bravery and strength and selflessness. And it's those qualities that make a veteran and make someone that is able to stand for something much bigger than themselves, which is our nation. It takes a very certain kind of person and a certain kind of person who comes from a certain kind of family to be able to fend someone more than themselves and something like our nation that is bigger than just you or I. And we are able to stand here and sit here today and honor these amazing people because they allowed us to. I will have the great honor to be able to stand on my graduation day with people, girls and men and boys alike, who would like to serve for our nation. And it is those people who have not only changed my life, but changed the way I think about our forces and our nation and everything that they are able to do for us. It is a celebration, Veterans Day, for those who have served for us in the past, for those who have served for us today, and for those who will serve for us in the future. And we must thank those people for everything that they've done and everything they will do. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. It is my great honor to stand before you to introduce to you the Ludlow Veteran of the Year. Sergeant Paul Charzan enlisted in the U.S. Army from 1967 to 1969. He served with the 1st Air Cav Division in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive of 1968. Sergeant Charzan is the recipient of the Bronze Star Medal for his service in connection with the military operations against a hostile force in the Republic of Vietnam. After military service, Paul has dedicated himself in support of veterans and their families. He is a member of many veteran organizations and has held many leadership positions at the local and state level. He continues his involvement with many veteran events and just recently spearheaded the Veterans Appreciation Dinner, the first time here in Ludlow, and the Ron Stevenson Memorial Fund Benefit Dinner. Paul frequently volunteers at the Holyoke Soldiers Home. In addition, Paul has served the residents of Ludlow for many years in elected and appointed positions. Paul's loyalty, diligence, and devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflects great credit upon himself, the town of Ludlow, and the United States Army. Ladies and gentlemen, our Veteran of the Year, Paul Charzan. Can I get the Board of Selectmen to come forward for their presentation?
So, Veteran of the Year, Paul Charzan. Veterans Day gives Americans the opportunity to celebrate the bravery and sacrifice of all United States veterans. The day is set aside to thank and honor living veterans who served honorably in the military in wartime and peacetime. This year, the Veteran of the Year Award is presented to Sergeant Paul Charzan, who exemplifies the true meaning of a veteran. Paul was enlisted in the United States Army from 1967 to 1969. He served with the 1st Air Cavalry Division in Vietnam during the Tet Offensive of 1968. He is the recipient of the Bronze Star Medal for his service in connection with military operations against a hostile force in the Republic of Vietnam. After military service, Paul has dedicated himself in support of the veterans and their families. He is a member of many veterans organizations and has held many leadership positions at the local and state levels. He continues his involvement with many veterans events, including spearheading the Veterans Appreciation Dinner and the Ron Stevenson Memorial Fund Benefit Dinner. Paul is a frequent volunteer at the Holyoke Soldiers Home. He has also served the residents of Ludlow in various elected and appointed positions for many years. Paul's loyalty, diligence, and devotion to duty are in keeping with the highest traditions of military service and reflects great credit upon himself, the town, and the United States Army. Therefore, we, the Board of Selectmen, honor him today as the 2014 recipient of the Veteran of the Year Award and urge all our citizens to unite in this special celebration of American spirit and respect for Paul Charzan.
Congressman Neal's office could not be with us today, so Everett is going to present for 2 citations. He is from Senator Elizabeth Warren's office, but it's only fair that he presents Congressman Neal's as well.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Veterans Day. Thank you for putting me on the spot here.
That's what we do.
But from the U.S. House of Representatives, on October of the 23rd, 2014, it says, "Dear Mr. Sharza, I write to congratulate you on being named the 2014 Ludlow Veteran of the Year by the Veteran Services of Ludlow. This prestigious award recognizes your significant and personal contributions to our country during the Vietnam War era as a United States soldier, and is certainly a well-deserved honor. You have joined a very distinguished group in being selected for this recognition. I wish you much continued success. Sincerely, signed, Richard E. Neal, House of Representatives." And I have a citation for you as well. The 113th Congress presents Sergeant Paul Sharza from the Ludlow Veteran of the Year. I am proud to offer my congratulations to Sergeant Paul Sharza on receiving the Ludlow Veteran of the Year award. On this day, we take time to celebrate your achievements, to give you thanks, and to honor all veterans. As a soldier in the U.S. Army and a Vietnam veteran, you have displayed a great deal of valor and contribute to keeping our nation safe and strong. Your leadership and commitment to veterans and their families has had a lasting impact on your community. On behalf of the United States Senate, I thank you for all that you've done for this country and this Commonwealth. Signed, United States Senator Elizabeth Warren.
Presentation from Representative Petrolati.
I won't read the citation because it's very similar to the one from Colonel that I presented to Colonel Keefe, but let me say from a personal perspective, and I have known Paul for most of my life. I knew his mom and his dad. I know the kind of stock he comes from, the kind of foundation that embodies this real significance of what this community is all about. And I'm not surprised that over the years, as we've alluded to and speakers have before me, that he has given back to this community what he feels has been given to him by the people of this town. But I'd also be remiss because in our speeches this morning, we made reference to the support of families. And Paul is blessed with a beautiful wife and 2 beautiful daughters, who I know have always encouraged him to step forward and give back to this community. So today, we are fortunate to again recognize somebody who makes a significant impact to this community day in and day out without looking for any recognition or accolades. Today, Paul, I am honored to be able to present to you the citation for being chosen the Veteran of the Year here in the town of Ludlow. Congratulations.
Good morning. Public officials, honored guests, my fellow veterans, family, and friends. I wish to thank the town of Ludlow for this prestigious award that was bestowed on me today. It is one of the most meaningful awards that a veteran could ever receive. Saigon, Cantien, Chuai, Quezon, Asia Valley, Dak To. Places in Vietnam that will be forever ingrained in my memory. As I flew as a radio operator in the air and on the ground during the Vietnam. And also served during the Tet Offensive, one of the most deadliest times of the war. So many of our veterans we lost. So many friends. We survived, we came back. When we came back home, it wasn't the reception we thought we would get. So services were denied. We were told not to wear our uniforms, to go out. To be a veteran was politically incorrect. but seeing that what's happened, myself and my fellow veterans resolve that no generation of veterans will ever be forgotten or ignored. We will ensure that we will fight to our dying death, that every veteran, when he returns and serves this great nation, will receive the benefits and the services they so richly deserve. There is one common bond, as the Colonel alluded to, between all veterans, regardless of race, religion, ethnic background, or social opinions. We all took the solemn oath to honor, serve, and defend the United States of America, even with our lives. Many paid that ultimate sacrifice, and when veterans bled, we all bled red. In this community, when we run events and all, as you do, whether it's the Veterans Memorial, the Ron Stevenson, or whatever function comes up, you always hope that you did enough to make it a success. But it is you, the business leaders, and the residents of Ludlow that stepped forward and showed us how much you care. We, the veterans, thank you for all the support that you have given to us. And over the years in this community, the residents here have stepped up with their generosity and support, not only for the veterans, but for the policemen, the firemen, our school children, organizations, and any family that has come upon an unfortunate situation. It's been truly remarkable. We hope going forward that if anything comes up in the future for an event, I'm surely and confident that this community will step forward and you'll all be a complete success. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to be a veteran of the Armed Forces of the United States and very proud to be a citizen of Ludlow, Massachusetts. Thank you, and God bless America.
Our next award is the recognition of Business of the Year. Frank W. Ackerman Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 3236 has annually recognized an outstanding Business of the Year who exemplifies great community services to its veterans and their families. For many years, the Polish American Citizens Club has been a community partner in providing monetary donations to veterans programs, providing banquet hall space for fundraisers and benefit dinners, and a champion in our local community with a willingness to give back on a grand scale. It is with great honor and pleasure to present the Polish American Citizen Club with the Business of the Year Award. Representing the Polish American Citizens Club today is President John Diatolevi, Vice President Lenny Robbins, Mark Lutowski, Kathy Kuhl, and Bob Major. I would ask those individuals to come up on stage, please. And the plaque reads, VFW Post 3236 salutes Polish American Citizens Club for their generosity and support to the veterans of the town of Ludlow from the members of Post 3236. Commander Christine Bassett, November 11th, 2014.
To John, Kathy, to Bobby, Mark Lutowski, and Lenny Robbins, congratulations. It seems year after year, we're not lost in finding civic organizations or businesses who contribute. Last year, I know we had the Big Y Corporation, and it's just testament, again, to the fine residents we have in this community who step forward time after time to volunteer their time, service, and their goodwill to make sure that we never forget what our veterans have done for us. So, John, on behalf of the Massachusetts House of Representatives, congratulations on this award.
Our next recognition is Civilian of the Year Award. The Civilian of the Year Award is presented to an individual who has made a contribution to the veterans and their families of the town of Ludlow. Florence Pooler has worked for the town of Ludlow for over 11 years. In her daily duties, Florence has provided assistance to veterans, their families, and funeral directors with coordinating veterans' plot and burial arrangements. In addition, she orders the military markers for the veterans and arranges for the foundations for all the monuments. Florence has shown caring and compassion in the performance of her duties. Her commitment to the quality care of veterans is in keeping with the aims and ideals of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's VFW Civilian of the Year awardee, Florence Pooler. And the plaque reads, VFW Post 3236 salutes Florence Pooler in great appreciation for your years of dedication and service to our veterans and their families. November 11, 2014.
Florence, I had the distinct pleasure of offering into the House a citation on your behalf, but let me just point you out as an example of what I said earlier about generations passing the type of characteristics that we look for. Florence's daughter is a member of the school committee, so you have built a great foundation in passing on to your daughter the importance of giving back. So today we congratulate you for all you've done, not only for what you've done for this community, but what you've passed on to your daughter who is giving back to us too. Congratulations.
Our next award is the Citizen Education Award, a recognition too often overlooked. Each year, 3 exceptional teachers are recognized by the Veterans of Foreign Wars for their outstanding commitment to teach Americanism and patriotism to their students. The VFW annually recognizes the nation's top classroom elementary, junior high, and high school teachers who teach citizenship education topics, at least half of the school day in a classroom environment, and promote America's history, traditions, and institutions effectively. The Smart Mayor VFW National Citizenship Education Teacher Award national winners will receive a $1,000 award to the top K through 5, 6 through 8, and 9 through 12 grade teachers for professional development expenses. A $1,000 award for each winning teacher's school. Plaques for both the winning teacher and school. And all expenses paid trip to attend the VFW conference and receive their award. This year we received nominations for K through 5 grade and for 6th through 8th grade. Today we will present each one with a certificate of appreciation and a check for $100. Both awardees will advance to the state level competition. The first award is being presented to Angela Anselmo. Ms. Angela Anselmo is being nominated by Christine Bassett, Post Commander of the VFW Post 3236. Recently, numerous newspaper articles highlight the wonderful work Ms. Anselmo does with her students to educate them on community, civic, and patriotic events that honor members in the community. Ms. Anselmo is a 5th grade teacher of reading and writing at the Veterans Park Elementary School, Ludlow, Mass. Not only an active member in the community, but also a highly regarded educator in the district for 20 years. Each year, her students start the year learning about the tragic events of September 11, 2001. They respectfully acknowledge those lives taken and honor those who have served and died as a result. Her primary focus in her classroom is on the service members of the community, firefighters, police, EMTs, paramedics, nurses, and veterans. Advocating for a program to bring the service people and youth together, teaching them what it truly means to be a citizen of our community. This approach of mobilizing the community helps students succeed and provides family support, government involvement, civic and business support, and resources, and advocates volunteerism. Her students have written letters to service people inviting them to come to their classroom so they may learn about the role each play within the community. Her students also learn about the POW MIA Remembrance Ceremony with the table setting for one. You will find often letters to the editor section in the local paper, a shout out to military service people both serving presently and those who are veterans, and extending their deepest and sincerest thanks for sacrificing and serving our country. She encourages her students to attend local events and veteran functions, including today's Veterans Day ceremony. She recently shared a YouTube video and led the discussion on military members deployed in Afghanistan. That video showed how these deployed members were separated from family and friends, and the many hardships and challenges faced by the deployed military members. Ms. Anselmo makes every effort to remember our veterans, instilling in her students an appreciation for the people of this nation. Now, before I ask her to come up, I will be reading a letter from Ms. Anselmo. November 11th, 2014. Dear veteran, thank you for your commitment, courage, and dedication to this nation and the people who remember you as those who serve our country and keep us safe. You are angels, and my class and I would like to recognize you as our role models and our heroes. As a mom of a child who is part of this community, it is my responsibility to teach her the values of being a citizen of this town. Ludlow will always be my home base. There are so many awesome servicemen and women and veterans in this community. I began to think about all the fallen angels, especially Sergeant Joshua DeForge, Semper Fi. Veterans Day, a day of remembrance. As our drumbeat and a moment of silence was said in honor of those who served and those who are still serving, we ask God to keep them in His heart and to keep them safe. This is but a simple thank you for hard work and dedication to this nation. Community has changed, but values remain the same. New breadth and depth needs to be placed on the values of honor, courage, and commitment. Listen to the children. They want to learn from you. They love you, and so do I. Sincerely, Angelo Anselmo, 5th grade teacher. I would like to ask all of you for a round of applause for her as she comes up to the stage for no more of an appropriate letter on a day like today to the veterans and military members. Ms. Anselmo is being presented with a citation and a check from the VFW Post 3236. The certificate reads, in recognition of excellence in promoting citizenship education and the patriotic principles of the veterans of foreign wars. In witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands. Christine Bassett, Commander.
It is I who am honored to be up here. I want to thank all the incredible, awesome servicemen and women and military, and the community does love you. Thank you.
The next award is a Teacher's Award for grades 6 through 8. Deborah Casagran, nominated by fellow teacher Michelle DeMoore, is a teacher at the Baird Middle School in Ludlow and the recipient of the VFW Teachers Award. Ms. Casagran epitomizes the spirit evoked by John F. Kennedy when he said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." She has donated thousands of hours of her time for the betterment of her community, and in the process, been an inspiring role model for students in learning the power of citizens uniting in a common cause. Over the years, Ms. Casagran has promoted civic responsibility on a consistent basis. She is a member of the Ludlow Cares Coalition, which strives to create a healthy environment that allows our youth to be successful and aims to promote good character and healthy choices while minimizing destructive behaviors such as illegal use of drugs and alcohol. Ms. Casagran helped Ludlow Cares to plan and organize various events, such as hosting Chris Herron as a guest speaker. As a result of her association with Chris Herron, Ms. Casagran's newest Baird endeavor is Project Purple, which was launched to break the stigma of addiction, bring awareness to the dangers of substance abuse, and shed light on effective treatment practices. Similarly, Ms. Casagran is a committee member of the Michael J. Dias Foundation, whose mission is to aid and educate families and people about substance abuse, to help individuals struggling with addiction continue on their path of sobriety through sponsorship and guidance. Further, Ms. Casagran has also served as part of the team that organized and implemented both Hoops for Heart, which raises money for the American Heart Association, and Baird's Fitness Day. She has also served as Baird's Community Service Club Advisor, leading students in performing acts of kindness for those in need in and around Ludlow. Additionally, Ms. Casagran was a leader in establishing the Baird Middle School Garden Club to foster the American ideal of sustained self-sufficiency among students. In all her efforts, Ms. Casagran is a role model for helping others and serving the community. In addition to her tireless commitment to teach civic responsibility, Ms. Casagran also demonstrates on a regular basis her immense gratitude and pride in being an American. One recent example occurred after a vacation trip to Colorado, where she shared her tremendous enthusiasm and appreciation for the majestic beauty of our great country with her colleagues. It is my hope that you will agree that Deborah Casagran is a worthy recipient of the VFW Teachers Award. The certificate reads, "In recognition of excellence in promoting citizenship education and the patriotic principles of the veterans of foreign wars, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands. Christine Bassett, Commander." Our next presentations will be the Students' Awards, the Voice of Democracy. Each year, nearly 40,000 high school students from across the country enter to win a share of the $2.2 million in educational scholarships and incentives awarded through the VFW's Voice of Democracy audio essay competition. Knowing that a democratic society needs nurturing, the VFW established the Voice of Democracy program in 1947 to provide students in grades 9 through 12 the opportunity to express themselves in regards to democratic ideas and principles. The national first place winner receives a $30,000 scholarship paid directly to the recipient's American university, college, or vocational technical school. Other national scholarships range from $1,000 to $16,000, and the first place winner from each state VFW department wins an all-expense paid trip to Washington, D.C. The goodwill of the Veterans of Foreign Wars reaches far beyond the realm of veterans helping veterans. In fact, direct involvement with America's youth and communities has always been, and always will be, a VFW priority. As I read the winner's name, I ask the students to come up on stage and remain on stage until all the awards are presented. Third place winner, Noelle Picard. Noelle Picard is being presented a certificate and a check in the amount of $75. Second place winner is Victoria Frenier. Victoria Frenier is being presented a certificate and a check in the amount of $100. Our first place winner is Jacob Francisco. Jacob is being presented a certificate and a check in the amount of $150. He will also advance to district level competition, where his essay will compete with students from across Hampton County. Once again, a round of applause to all of you. Our next category is the Patriot Pen Awards. The VFW believes strongly in good citizenship and fostering patriotism. That's why we encourage youthful minds to examine our nation's history and their own experiences in modern American society through our Patriots Pen Youth Essay Writing Contest. Annually, more than 100,000 students from grades 6 through 8 nationwide enter. One first place winner from each state competes to win one of 46 national awards, totaling $46,000. The national first place winner wins $5,000 and an all-expense paid trip to Washington, D.C. in March. Students draft a 300 to 400 word essay expressing their views based on an always patriotic annual theme chosen by the VFW Commander-in-Chief. This year's theme was Why I Appreciate America's Veterans. With the help of the Baird Middle School Patriot Pen Coordinator, Michelle Demore, and St. John's the Baptist School Principal, Shelley Rose, we received over 123 entries for this contest. As we cannot award everyone a prize, we want to thank all the students for participating. Today, we will recognize the top 10 essays and award them with certificates and monetary awards. The top 5 winners will move up to district level competition. Congratulations to all the winners. 10th place, Christopher Langwitz. Ninth place, James Elliott Jr. Eighth place, Jocelyn Trakowski. Seventh place, Megan Santos. Sixth place, Max Morrell. Fifth place, Anthony Patera. Fourth place, Emily Baffert. Third place, Brianna Ferreira. Second place, Sydney Trigillo. And first place, Sedona Wicker. Ladies and gentlemen, let's congratulate our winners.
I needed to make a comment because we received 123 essays that we sat for several days reading. That was your top 10.
Our final recognition this morning goes to an unsung hero who has been a great supporter of our veterans and their families through her generosity to the Ron Stevenson Memorial Fund. And her contributions have helped many of Ludlow's veterans. I call upon Joanne Martin to come forward. Joanne is being presented with the Meritorious and Distinguished Service Award. The citation reads, "For meritorious and distinguished service in furthering the aims and ideals of the veterans of foreign wars of the United States." Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a round of applause for all of our award recipients and for those advancing their respective competitions. We wish you all luck in representing our
Okay, so this past year, in closing, I had the honor and to help. We wanted to add more names to the memorial. So with the help of several members, some veterans here in town, we opened up the list to try to fill the current plaque that's there. The enormous response and veterans who wanted to get their names on, and as well as family members of their deceased family members. We were able to create the first plaque, which is to my left, which arrived FedExed on yesterday, Friday. So the company could not install it, but I wanted to bring it here today so that you can see the names if you are here in attendance and find your veteran's name, unless you're the veteran. We are taking additional names, and we will raise enough funds so that we can get another plaque installed. So before you leave here today, take a look at see if your name is on there. We are hoping to have that installed in the coming week. Before we depart today, let us focus our thoughts of thanks to those who are spending this sacred day away from their families and friends. Those not on American soil, but in a foreign nation, proudly displaying Old Glory on their right arm. May they return home safe, and may we always remember all the freedoms that our veterans have secured for us. We are truly privileged to have such noble citizens. Thank you for joining us for today's event. God bless you, God bless the town of Ludlow, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you for attending. Special thanks to Exit 7 Theater, Sue and Winnie, for all your help these last couple of days and for hosting this event. We also want to thank Ludlow Community TV for being here as well, and all their staff. Ludlow High School Chorus, and Ludlow Cub Scout Pack 1774, and Rebecca Paul, the Cub Master, for their help today. At the conclusion of this ceremony, we will have a short wreath-laying ceremony down by the memorial. Everyone is invited to attend the ceremony. There is also a free SOS breakfast at Frank's Diner as well. Again, thank you all for coming. At this time, I ask Father Miskell for the benediction.
Most High God, we thank you again for this time together, and for the gift of our veterans who have suffered for our common safety and good. Strengthen us all in virtue, and give us the courage to fight the battles that must be fought, to preserve ourselves and our brethren from evil and injustice. You are truly the Lord of armies. Our true peace, lies not in human pacts or pacifism, but in the justice that you bring, sometimes through the tough discipline of just wars. Give us fortitude always to serve you and our brethren. Bless and save us, Lord. Amen.
Again, I want to thank Colonel Keefe for taking time today to spend with us, for your service to our country and the Commonwealth. Thank you, sir. Our officials, thank you all again. Thank you all for coming. This concludes our ceremony. I ask the students who received awards to come back up so we can take some pictures, group pictures before you take off. And the ceremony down by the memorial will be about in 10 minutes and it'll last about 5. It's just a wreath-laying ceremony. Thank you again all for coming. Hope to see you all next year.